but the war in Ukraine shows it doesn't know how to use them. The Russian tank force has taken a beating. U.S. officials have said on more than one occasion that Russia has likely lost as many as half its main battle tanks while fighting in Ukraine, if not more. According to an open-source intelligence analysis by Oryx, more than 1,780 Russian tanks have been destroyed. These problems were underscored during a recent tank battle near the eastern Ukrainian town of Volodar, where Russia lost scores of tanks and armored vehicles. Moscow repeated detrimental mistakes it made during its assault on Kyiv in the early days of the war. It sent columns of tanks straight into Ukrainian ambushes. Russian tanks have fallen prey to Ukrainian soldiers using anti-tank Javelin missiles because they're hanging out aimless in open fields, with little to no support or protection. At the same time, they've been seen driving straight through minefields and exploding. Due to the design of many of Russia's tanks, a hit can cause the ammunition to detonate, killing the crew as the overpressure blows the top off. Our story begins on the front lines, where the Ukrainian defense forces stand firm against an encroaching threat. Surrounded by chaos and uncertainty, these brave soldiers face the ultimate test of courage. As tensions escalate, our cameras capture the intense anticipation and unwavering determination etched on their faces. Unbeknownst to the Russian tank crew, fate has a surprise in store for them. They have no idea what awaits them just beyond the horizon. With the Russian tank inching closer, the Ukrainian soldiers rally their forces, ready to unleash their secret weapon. Every move is calculated, every second counts. The tension builds as the decisive moment approaches. Amidst the chaos, a moment of victory shines through. The Ukrainian soldiers embrace each other, celebrating their triumph over adversity. This epic moment of bravery serves as a testament to the indomitable human spirit, reminding us all that even in the face of adversity, hope prevails and heroes are born.
The footage begins with an aerial view of Ukrainian howitzers being pounded by Russian projectiles and Ukrainian troops fleeing in terror. The second part of the footage finishes with the howitzers being pulled into the woods to avoid detection, but the area was then also bombarded by Russian artillery. The Russian Ministry of Defense claimed that its attack drones, backed up by artillery, destroyed a Ukrainian firing position of US-made 155mm M777 howitzers near the Podgorny settlement, reported Russian state news agency. In the area of the settlement of Podgorny, the Russian teams of unmanned aerial vehicles and artillery reconnaissance systems established the coordinates of a firing position of US-made 155mm M777 howitzers used by the Ukrainian military. The operators of unmanned aerial vehicles delivered a missile strike on the firing position of the battery of American howitzers, damaged several guns, the ministry said in a statement. The ministry further asserted that the Ukrainian fighters were hit by an artillery strike as soon as they concentrated prime movers and guns in the forest. All of the equipment and American howitzers were reportedly destroyed. M777 howitzers reinforcing Kyiv's defenses. The M777 is a 155mm field howitzer produced by BAE Systems. It can unleash Excalibur-guided shells and has a 40-kilometer effective firing range. It is one of the most recent shipments of U.S. armaments to land in Ukraine as part of a military assistance. In addition to the United States, Canada, Australia, and Germany are set to have delivered the M777 howitzers to Kyiv. According to a senior Pentagon official, dozens of Ukrainian military personnel have already completed training on new U.S.-supplied weapons, up from roughly 200 trained personnel 1 week ago. The officer noted 310 troops were trained on U.S.-made M777 howitzers. As previously reported by the Euro-Asian Times, 50 more Ukrainians are currently being trained, and the United States has initiated new 2-week maintenance training courses. A senior Department of Defense DoD official stated a few days ago that around 60% of the 90 howitzers slated for delivery were in Ukraine, along with 155mm ammunition. We do believe that these howitzers will be very, very effective in helping the Ukrainians in the Donbass fight, which we've already seen. the official had said at the time. These training programs are critical since the artillery has been shown to have a significant role in the ongoing conflict. The US is also sending over 121 tactical drones to Ukraine. That includes the Switchblade and the all-new Phoenix Ghost. Ukraine has also utilized Turkish TB2 Bayraktar drones and its own homegrown armored unmanned aerial vehicles, culminating in important military gains over Russia. Meanwhile, the UK has also committed 12 AS-90 155mm armored self-propelled artillery pieces, while the French military will supply 12 Caesar 155mm trucked self-propelled howitzers to their Ukrainian counterparts. Italy, Belgium, and the Netherlands have also signaled that they will send PZH-2000 SP 155mm self-propelled howitzers, or M109 Paladins, to Ukraine. The artillery systems are also facing significant wear and tear as Russia mobilizes its assets. Large-scale deliveries of cluster munitions could be seen as a potential and major reinforcement of the capabilities available to Kiev. This would require a political decision and a taboo topic to be scrutinized. Also, NATO capabilities carried by cluster munitions may also be valuable for Poland. NATO standard US systems, 155mm M777 and 105mm M119 howitzers, Polish howitzers 155mm Crab howitzers, Dutch and German systems, 155mm PZH-2000, Italian assets, 155mm M109 FH-70, French howitzers, 155mm Caesar, and systems delivered by other nations all participate in operations in Ukraine. The Western artillery systems are praised by the Ukrainians as ones having the advantage over the post-Soviet guns operated by them previously and ones currently operated by the Russians. There is no doubt that the Western guns played a key role in counterattacks near Kherson, Kharkiv, and Izium. Kiev is facing several issues here though. First, there have been too few deliveries when considering the actual requirements. Ukraine most probably received no more than 200 155mm towed artillery pieces and no more than 150 self-propelled systems firing rounds of that caliber. This may seem a lot, but on the canvas of the requirements, considering the rapid expansion of the Ukrainian armed forces and their dependence on the artillery, Ukraine also can use their air assets to a limited extent. It is much more dependent on artillery than. The use and depletion of the munitions stockpile is another problem. The profile of the conflict and the intense use of artillery assets means that the assumed use has been greatly exceeded. It is estimated that the Ukrainians fire 5,000 to 6,000 rounds per day, but this refers to a great variety of artillery rounds, also those not matching the NATO standard. The above means that the Western states are burdened with munitions deliveries more and more. It is even more pronounced as there was not a lot of artillery munitions procurement being done. The re-establishment of industrial capacity cannot be accomplished overnight. For instance, the US is increasing the number of 155mm artillery projectiles from 14,000 per month last year to 20,000 per month in spring this year. The third problem is the issue of losses and wear of the artillery systems themselves. Kiev has already lost a number of the Western howitzers. Those that remain in service are worn out and require overhauls. It is becoming increasingly more challenging for the West to deliver new artillery assets, as it takes 2 to 3 years to manufacture them, while the available stockpile is finite. By no accident have the Americans begun to deliver 105mm artillery pieces alongside the 155mm ones. Everything above is happening as Russia is getting ready for another wave of mobilization, willing to expand its armed forces in a Soviet manner with divisions being formed instead of compact brigade-level elements. Moscow wants to fight in mass, with the involvement of huge military units, also taking high losses into account, copying the Western model with a greater level of autonomy granted to low-level commanders, or efficient communications and PGMs has not been a success for the Russians, which has been shown at the beginning of the war.